Boom shakalaka, after the Bitcoin markets get quite overheated, where price could be headed in the short term by halving and in the long term. If you're looking to stick around, stay tuned. What's up everyone, Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video, a lot of very interesting charts for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, including where price could be headed in the short term. And then, if you really want to stick around, put your big boy or big girl or big other pants on, see where the price ends up after that period. Now, before we get into it, guys, like the video. It helps out so much. Now, today, fear and greed in neutral at 52, up from yesterday, but down from the past few weeks where we have been in greed territory, back to neutral territory once again. The overall market sideways today. Bitcoin at 41,566, Ethereum at 24.71, BNB at 3.14, Solana $92, XRP 54 cents, Cardano 51 cents, Avalanche $32, and Dogecoin 7 cents. And Bitcoin, after it broke through the 50-day moving average, this yellow line, the last time, this red bar pattern is exactly what it did, which would put Bitcoin price at roughly $36,000 by the end of February, still on track for fair value $40,000 by the halving. And right now, Bitcoin is sitting, crossing its fingers, praying that this line of support will hold right here, because if it doesn't, it's very likely could be breaking through to the downside. If we take a look right now, it does appear like it was a sell the news type event. We can see that the US trading premium for Bitcoin dropped sharply after the ETFs were launched, basically by the rumor, sell the news. And we can see, point in case right here, staggering 60,000 Bitcoin initially purchased 3 to 6 months ago by the rumor, at an average price of $26,000 was recently sold, netting an impressive 57% profit. This equates to a total gain of roughly $885 million. So, bought the rumor, sold the news, made some money. But will they stick around for phase 2? I don't know. Phase 1, though, we might see, maybe a CME gap right here at roughly $39,000. Will this get filled? Likely. Everybody loves to fill the CME gaps, because the markets were getting somewhat overheated. We can see here the value days destroyed multiple reached frothy levels for the first time in the early stage of the cycle. Now it did reach these frothy levels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times last cycle before we had the blow off top where it blew through there 3 times previously in 2017, 2018, and touched once in 2019. So we hit the frothy levels one time. What will happen the next time? Well, first, we might have a little bit of a drawdown on a Bitcoin price once again. It turns out that historically, Bitcoin has been 56, 54, or 52% down from all-time highs at the time of the halving, roughly the fair value price. Now, 50%, continuing that trend of less than 2% each time, would be roughly a $34,000 Bitcoin. Same territory-ish that we're looking at with this bar pattern right there. So that could very likely be where price is headed. And even if we take a look here, bearish divergence on the daily chart, we have the RSI going down, the price going up, likely bearish divergence, or at the very least a correction that could last several weeks to months, basically sideways price movement for weeks to months. The TD sequential on the weekly was hinting at this last week. Now, is that all bad news? Well, I don't know. The 4-year cycle, including realized price, which is the dotted lines aligned on today's date, we are right in the mix for what Bitcoin historically does. Still very early. Yes, the ETF news happened, but guess what? The halving comes up, the presidential election, all that stuff. Historically, whenever Bitcoin trades above the 50 MA, this blue line right here, the bull cycle begins. So we just started trading above there. That means that likely the bull run will start post-halving. Just a little bit of patience. We're through the bear market. The bull market has begun. And generally, you can see here, very similar RSI formation. It tends to do pretty darn well over the next year. That long trend line we were talking about, fingers crossed Bitcoin price holds it, because if it does, look what happens after it holds that trend line. Could be up for some parabolic gains right around the corner, and it may be just a little bit too soon to give up just yet. The weekly parabolic SAR suggests the trend has not yet stopped and reversed. You can see this dot right underneath. Generally, the trend reverses when the dot goes on top. So we'll see what happens next week, but as of this week, the trend is still holding. And even more interesting, today marks a notable uptick in Bitcoin whales. Look at this spike right here. Sure, there was a sell-off, but look at this spike. The number of addresses holding over 1,000 Bitcoin has reached its highest since August of 2022, now totaling 1,510. This increase in large Bitcoin holders could signal strong confidence or strategic positioning in the market. Nothing better than strategic positioning. Now, where could we be headed? Well, we talked about the potential downside. I think we could be headed there, possible, maybe not, maybe just going sideways. But let's take a look at the upside because we do have that halving bull run coming up. On this log regression curve, which has touched every top, the top would be roughly $123,000. But on this log regression curve, which did not touch that first one, look at this, $252,000 per Bitcoin. And the longer it takes us to get there, the higher that price gets. So that's all for today's episode. If you enjoyed it, push the like button. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Love you. Peace.
If you don't think Bitcoin's going to $1 million a coin and then $10 million a coin, you're already a loser.
From now on, if you don't own Bitcoin, you're a moron.